All right. And well,
so no introductions, huh?
No, fuck it. Let's just go. Let's do it.
Fucking rip.
Let's get it on.
Well, Gian, I'm glad you guys made it in safely. You guys all rode the same plane?
dude, we did not actually. We did not do it. They actually got here, yesterday? You guys got here yesterday.
Yeah,
I got here this morning. So I haven't slept much. I've only slept like 3 or 4 hours.
And where'd you come from?
I'm coming from Colorado right now.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going on a huge trip because me and my wife been planning a trip around the States for maybe 3 years now. So it just happened, we decided COVID hit and we sold our house because the market was so high. We sold that thing. Then we tried to buy another house. And it was impossible to buy another house. We couldn't get it, they were so expensive. Yeah. So we just decided to buy an RV. We got a fancy truck. And now we're just traveling around the States.
Dude, it's so dope. I'm so jealous.
Oh, dude.
It's got to be so nice.
I love it. I was kind of nervous at first because I was just like, God, I got to travel. And it's going to be living out of a suitcase kind of thing. But it doesn't feel that way at all.
Good deal.
I got my own little house everywhere I go. It's awesome. I get to, visit all my friends. And it's just been so fun.
Do you have any pets that ride along with you?
Yeah, I got a little Yorkie. A little baby. Yeah. She's a little baby, dude.
And she handles herself well with it.
She's amazing. She loves it too, man. She's so excited, dude. You see her? She's just having fun every day. No pee-pee inside the RV, which is great. She's having fun.
That's a plus.
That's a plus, man. That's a plus, especially with little baby dogs. But
right, no doubt.
She's awesome, man. She's
at least if it was, it'd be a little baby pee-pee.
Yeah, I mean, kind of a little baby body, but these pee-pees are big, man. That's what she said.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Not to me, but I've heard them say it.
Right. You've heard somebody say it.
Yeah, somebody said it once.
Yeah. Well, I guess before we get too far into this, I want to give you guys a Chicago tradition. Around here, we like to drink what we call Malort. And Malort is this alcohol that's been around since before the Prohibition. They made their way through by saying that they were medicinal because who would drink this stuff, right? So Ryan's going to come around and pass us some of this delicious beverage.
Dang, I can't
I'm
wait,
good. I'm ready.
Man.
I'm already ready.
All right. Let's see.
I hope you're excited.
Let's do it.
Cheers.
Smells
Cheers.
good.
Cheers.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Cheers.
Some of the best stuff you'll ever have.
Let's do it.
Delicious.
You had a pretty accurate description.
Which was what?
Why would anybody drink this?
Right. Well, let me get your description on this. So that's another thing that kind of comes along with it. People like to describe this in different ways. Like, I think, like grandma's Band-Aids or burning rubber bands. I think the best one I've heard so far is like driving through Gary, Indiana in a convertible with your mouth open. Which feels pretty accurate.
Yeah. I'd say that would be very accurate.
I don't know what that is, dude. I can't even think after I eat that.
That's it. Show's over.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's not fair. You got a Red Bull.
Oh, shit.
You got a chaser. You got a chaser.
He's got backwash.
I knew I was going to eat it.
Nah, all good.
Wow.
Good deal. Well, Gian,
wow.
I'm hoping everybody watching knows who you are. You've been on Ink Master a handful of times.
Yes.
You are probably one of the best technical tattooers I know out there, and you are by far the best person at coming in second place on Ink Master.
Oh, man, thank you, dude. Thank you. That means a lot.
Would you come in second place twice? Was that right?
Yeah, twice now. I'm probably the only one in Ink Master history that's done that. So I broke records with that one. Yeah, man. Got second place. Got second place the first time, competing against Ryan Ashley.
Okay.
And she did a good job. I mean, she did a great tattoo. I thought my tattoo was a little bit better, but hey, she won, She won.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Ashley is a great tattooer. She went on to do a bunch of other stuff too, right? Like Angels or something like that.
Yeah, she did tattoo Ink Angels. Okay. And dude, honestly, Ryan Ashley, I can't really talk shit about her. She is
I don't
amazing.
want you to.
I can't really. I mean, she is an amazing artist, and she's an amazing person. I really have fun with her every time I'm with her, and she's really good in camera.
Yeah,
I bet. Dude, she is amazing. When you see her speaking to camera and doing stuff, it's really second nature, and that's something that's it's hard. I mean, you know how it is. You know, speaking to a camera, making it look natural. That's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, and it's a good thing that I don't have anybody trying to make me look bad on the other side of the camera. Dude. Unlike Ink Master, I feel like that's one of their goals is to try and put you in an uncomfortable position and make you do things that you're not really used to, right?
Kinda. I think honestly, in my opinion, they're never trying to. And you know, I could be wrong with this, but I don't feel like they're trying to make you look bad. They're actually doing the opposite. They're trying to make you look cool in camera. Really? And they're trying to help you out in different ways. They'll tell you ways to say certain things, but you know, when you're there, you kind of just want to like do your own thing. You don't want to listen too much sometimes. At least to me, the first time I was there, I didn't want to listen to them. They would say, hey, say it this way. And I'd just be like, I would never say it that way.
Sure.
But they're trying to just make you look cool in camera, dude. That's their goal. They want to make you look good, you know. And if you kind of look like a dick or portray yourself as a dick, it's going to multiply when they edit it, you know? You're just going to look like a dick.
Sure.
But it's because you were a dick, you know, not because they will make you act that way at all.
No, I got you. Yeah.
You know,
which is weird from being
like
an outsider looking at Ink Master. It feels the opposite almost. Like sometimes it feels like they're magnifying like when they're looking at your tattoos on the screen, like they're magnifying lines that like were maybe like a fifth of the percent of the whole tattoo, and you know what I mean? They're really being very picky, but I guess that's what they should be doing anyway.
Yeah, that's part of the show, you know. They're trying to talk about the bad stuff. We already know what the good stuff is, you know. It looks good, it's whatever, but they're trying to, you know, make it uncomfortable too. They're not trying to make it easy for you while you're there. So, no, Ink Master, man, it's one of those things I got a love-hate relationship with, you know? When I'm there, I hate it. When I'm out of Ink Master, I'm like, damn, that was awesome.
Sure,
you know?
and you kind of miss the camaraderie with all the people and everything like that. Does everybody get along on that show, like for the most part?
I think so. I think everybody gets along. It's really cool being in it. It's just that, you know, a lot of people, they'll act a certain way, and then the show airs, they'll see themselves on TV, and they'll be like, oh, they made me say that. You know, it's like, no, you said it because you wanted to say it. You know, nobody told you to say this, and it's an easy way out when you just go like, oh, they made me do that. They made me do this, do that. No, they don't make you do anything, you know?
Speaking of making you do stuff, is there, like, because I know a lot of people, and I'm speaking out of like no experience, but people will ask me all the time, like, do you think Ink Master is scripted? And I say, no, it's not scripted.
No.
But is there anything that they do kind of like manufacture?
Yeah, there's definitely certain things. So Ink Master is not scripted at all. Nothing's scripted. You know, sometimes it portrays itself or it comes out a little bit scripted just because I'll say like, I really didn't like this tattoo Pony Lawson did. I don't like it, you know? And then they'll be like, yeah, say that again, but just say you don't like it because the lines are not straight or whatever. You know what I mean? So they'll try to say, they'll make you say a certain way, or they'll give you, how do you say that? They'll give you the option to say it a different way. And then when you say it again, now you're kind of acting. Because it's not, you know, it's not original anymore.
Sure,
now you're saying like, no, but I didn't like this because Pony. It seems that way, it portrays itself that way, but nothing's scripted.
But everything plays out the way that it's.
Yeah, everything plays out the way. What I think does happen, and this is just me. I don't know if this really does happen, but what I think happens is that the producers kind of will have their ways to steer the game a little bit, you know? So they'll know people they want to make it all the way to the end. So they'll kind of give challenges that are an advantage to that person if they want them to go further. They'll give a challenge that will be a disadvantage to the person that they don't want to make further. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the way they do it to steer the game a little bit. But at the end of the day, man,
you still have to pull good tattoos.
Yeah, and people will leave that the producers don't want to leave. You know, I've personally seen the producers run out of like the back and just like when Sketchy Lawyer quit. You know, he quit in my season. He literally just stood up and he's like, I'm out. I don't want to keep doing this. And he just left in the middle of filming. And I saw the face of the producers and they were just like in shock, dude. They didn't know what to do. They have to, now they got a whole extra day they don't know what to do with, you know? So, dude, it gets crazy, dude. And these these producers take it really serious, you know, and they're making their bets in the back too.
Oh,
know?
yeah? Sure.
Oh yeah, dude. Every time I made it to the finale, every time I have the camera guys in the back like, you better not fucking lose this. I got $100 on this, Gian. You know, like they're really into it, dude, and they're all betting in the back of who's gonna win. So me personally, I've never thought that is planned out perfectly. You know, it's a game for them too. They don't know what's gonna happen.
Speaking of 100,000, I've never once in my life been this close to having $100,000 to win $100,000.
Yeah.
You've had that twice.
No.
Can't imagine what kind of feeling that is.
Not twice, because the first one was $100,000. Second one was $250,000. So I've potentially lost $350,000. God damn it,
Gian, tell us how you really feel. Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, tell me, man. How does
man,
that make
to be
you feel?
honest, I loved it. I loved Ink Master. I loved being in the show. I got nothing bad to say about it.
No,
It's
sure. Yeah, I'm not
really
trying to pray anything bad
cool.
out of you, but it's got to be such a weird feeling to be that close to winning. It's like
sucks.
one number off of your lottery ticket. It's even worse than that because you've worked for something and you got very far in something.
Exactly. Yeah, but you know, I just
They
honestly
don't give you a
both
consolation
times,
prize. They don't give you like, here's
they
a toaster.
should. No, they give
Nothing?
you nothing, man. They give you a little, hey, good job, man. Get out of here.
Damn, at least Mr.
You know?
Beast gives like his people $1,000 who leave early. You know what I mean?
Nothing, dude. And honestly, you get paid very little. You know, I'm not gonna
Sure.
get into how much exactly you get paid, but it is not a lot.
Well, that was one of the reasons I didn't. They called me this last for this last season, and I asked them how much they made because I have a lot of people to pay, and it just wasn't. It's not sustainable.
No,
you know.
no.
So it would have been a big risk.
It's a big risk, but at the same time, I always tell all my friends. I tell them all. Like every time they ask me, like, should I do it? I'm like, yes, you should 100%
great
do
experience.
it. It's a great experience, you know, and it's one of those things that you know you won't probably have too many opportunities in your life to be in a TV show that's that recognized. Because first time I did Ink Master, I got out of it. I got second place, and I was just like, you know, how many people are going to watch this? You know, a couple thousand people watch it. You know, I'll probably get a couple people in my Instagram. It's going to be like that. But I probably had 10,000 followers to 15,000 followers when I went on Ink Master for the first time. And when it aired, a month after it aired, I probably had 80 to 90,000
Crazy.
followers. And it was crazy.
That's
I mean,
nuts.
yeah, you get recognized in the airport, and people.
Oh, I
want,
bet.
dude. People want their autographs by you. Like, there's people crying when they see
That's
you.
crazy.
Yeah,
They cry when they see me, but for different
crazy.
reasons.
Same. That's why I was just like, this is amazing. You know,
Yeah.
like I was really impressed on how many people watch it and how many families watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I get a lot of kids, a lot of, you know, under 10 years old that are just amazed by seeing you, and they've watched the show with their families. You know, it's a family thing.
So it's almost worth more than $250,000.
Yeah,
almost.
dude. Honestly, every time, I don't even think about the money every time I'm on it.
Yeah,
You know,
well,
I wish
sure.
I did, but the money is really secondary, and I just don't even think about it. And I've just been surprised that I made it all the way to the end. 'Cause,
No doubt. I
yeah.
mean, again, well deserved. I think you're one of the best technical
Thank you.
tattooers out there. You're definitely somebody who I look up to. I look at all your work, and everybody at the shop, we're kind of just zooming in on your photos, trying to find those imperfections. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
but
hey,
it's
man.
just wonderful work. You know, it's like I'd like to do more stuff like yours because it's, I don't know, it's something
Thank
that the real tattooers look up to. It's something I've always said is like your style of tattoos are like the tattooer's tattoo. It's like the things that like we all know in the back of our heads how much work it takes to behind the scenes, like to get the design ready, to do all this, to pull beautiful looking lines, and then to follow it up with shading and color, etc. Whereas like somebody like myself, I love doing realism, and I think it comes almost natural to me, but I almost feel like I'm cheating in a way because there's not near as much of a setup or anything to that. You know what I mean? I'm almost just
Yeah.
like looking at a photo and copying it to the best of my ability, and not to like down myself like that, but I just feel like there's so much more like soul
I
in
get
your
what
work.
you mean.
You know
I
what
get
mean?
it happens to me with like New School. I see them, the way they draw everything in New School. I do a lot of, I do a lot of tracing pretty much. You know, I'll look at a tiger that I like, you know, a picture, and I'll kind of draw on top of that picture. So it's not like I'm actually looking at a picture and drawing it kind of like
Sure.
that. So I do a lot of that. And I feel the same way sometimes. I'm like, I'm kind of cheating here, you
Yeah.
know, because I'm not actually drawing it. Not like the new school guys that are just like coming up with new characters, you know.
Right.
And, you know, so I feel you and what you're saying with that, but there's just different styles, you know.
Yeah, we probably all feel that way to some extent, like looking at somebody else's style, being like, "Fuck, I wish I could do that," or whatever. Maybe
Yeah,
like.
of course. I mean, my favorite artist in the whole world was Timmy B for years. You know, not that he's not he's definitely one of my favorite artists right now.
Still to this
But
day, he's amazing.
He's amazing, but I tattoo very different than Timmy B. I can't, even though I try to imitate him for years.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, first time I love saying this story because the first time I met Timmy B, I met him in a convention, and the first thing I told him was like, dude, I love your work. I bought your book, and I literally tattooed all the pages out of it. He was like, oh, thanks, man. I mean, it's not meant for you to just trace it, but I guess thank you. I literally traced that thing, and I would tattoo it on everybody because I was, or at least on one of my friends, you know, because I wanted to tattoo that stuff so bad. But no matter what I did and how many years I tried, it just started like morphing into neo-traditional very weirdly, which is something I never even thought to get into. Yeah.
So like when you were drawing like in school and high school and whatnot, it wasn't neo-traditional, but it was more like along the new school lines?
No. Dude, to be honest, like I started, so I was one of those kids that was the artistic kid, you know, in school and in his class. I was the guy that drew, that would win all the art competitions in school and stuff like that. And I did that until I was like 13. Then 13, I met my first little girlfriend. And then once that happened, I was like, I ain't drawing ever again.
Yeah, right. You got too much more on your
from
mind.
there.
I never even drew again. If you would have asked me when I was 18 if you drew, I would have been like, no, I don't draw.
No way.
Literally, I just stopped doing it. I wasn't interested anymore for years. When I was like 19, my buddy did a tattoo convention, and he was a good friend of mine, and he was like, hey man, I really want you to go, just support me, you know, because I'm doing it. I was like, all right, cool, I'll support it, you know, I'll go over there, paid the ticket, went in there, I saw everybody tattooing, and I came to that convention with $100 in my pocket, and I had the idea that I would, with $100, get a full sleeve done in the convention. Yeah. That was my idea. I didn't know much about anything about tattoos. I was like, $100, right? You know, they'll just tattoo my whole arm, you know, I'll get whatever. And I went over there, quickly noticed that tattoos are expensive. $100 won't get you much at all. Yeah. And I used the $100 to buy a tattoo machine kit. That's
hilarious.
what I did.
Not from the convention. You went home and bought a kit.
No, I bought it from the convention.
Oh, no
Somebody
way.
was selling these tattoo kits, like in the metal box, the classic
Crazy.
Amazon
What
ones.
convention was it? Do you remember?
It was in Puerto Rico.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and I bought one of those things. Got home. The girlfriend I had at the time saw it, and she was like, "God damn it, this is another stupid idea that you just lost your money in," you know. And I was like, no, I'm gonna do something out of it. At least I'll get the $100 back. She was just like, dude, this is just like any other thing you've always done, which is
proved her wrong, eh?
Yeah, it worked out.
Yeah, I guess I'd say.
But yeah, dude. So that's kind of how I got into the tattoo industry. It wasn't one of those things that when I was young, I used to buy tattoo magazines and stuff. And watch the pictures and stuff. But I just never got into it until I was in my 19 to 20 years old.
And how old are you now?
I am 37.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been in it for a long time.
I've been in it, for a little bit. You know, at least I say that. I want to say I started like 2008 or so. So I've been in it for 15 years or so.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Good shit.
It's been a while now. It's crazy.
It's funny. You said you were 37. I was like, damn, he's old. And I'm like, how old am I? I'm 37. I always feel like I'm younger than I actually am. Damn, I thought you were older than me.
Yeah, no, man. We're the same age. We're getting old.
I know.
I don't want to hear it.
Well, you brought some friends with you.
I did. I brought my business partners over here.
Business partners, Dr. Dwayne and Dr. Rudy, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Can you guys want to tell me why you're here? Why you're here with Gian?
Do you want to go ahead?
Go for it.
So we're here with Gian because we have formed a business that merges the tattoo industry and anesthesia.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, I want to hear more about that.
That's kind of it. And I think that we've got a good handle on where we are and where we're going. And I think that with people like Gian and other artists, I think we've got something that people are going to be really interested in.
Yeah, good. I'm so excited to see how this comes to
Let me
fruition.
tell you how I met these guys.
Yeah, please.
Oh my God, dude. So I go into the doctor. I got to get my wisdom teeth removed. I got to get my teeth fixed on, a couple teeth fixed and stuff. Go to the doctor. They got to put me under anesthesia because I'm a big wimp and I'm not doing it any other way.
It's okay.
You know,
It's okay.
I ain't doing it. So
That's how we make our living, Gian.
Exactly. It was my first time doing anything like that.
Crazy.
So I was really nervous about it, you know, and beforehand they were like, listen, you can't smoke weed. Like that was really important. You can't smoke weed. You couldn't do a couple things that I was like, all right, this is serious shit.
Please do what your
Why can't
anesthesia
you smoke
provider
weed?
asks you
Yeah.
to do, or
Yes,
not do.
please
But they were really serious
Public
about
service
it.
announcement.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm not doing this. You know, I smoke a lot. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I smoke a lot. So I was like, all right, I got to not smoke weed for like 24 hours. I got to make sure that I'm good. I don't eat and all this stuff. I was nervous. I got there, and then Rudy was there, and he was dressed just like you see him right now. And he was the nicest guy ever. And then he just got me really relaxed. He was making a couple jokes here and there. I was just like, damn, this is going to be great. Put a little IV on me. Didn't even feel it. You know, I was really worried about the IV.
He said not the hands because he uses his hands.
I was worried about it being in my hands because I felt like it would hurt me the next day tattooing or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he was like, good. You just put it right here. Didn't feel it. 2 minutes later, I was waking up and it was all done.
Good deal.
It was
And then-
amazing.
And then that sparked the idea?
Kind of. Before I went on there, under the anesthesia, I told my wife, I said, hey, listen, don't let me forget. I got to tell these guys that I want to ask them if they are willing to do anesthesia, you know, for my clients and stuff like that. And I can't even remember asking, but I guess I
do.
asked these guys. Huh? 'Cause
I
was
do.
like,
So as you're waking up, which you did fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So Zai came in the room, and she's the one that actually brought it up first.
Yeah, Zai's
and
my wife.
And so
Okay.
he's about half awake, and he like you said, he doesn't remember any of this crap because most people don't, at least for a little while after the anesthesia. And she's the one that brought it up, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, we want to work with you guys." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Yeah, I think we can do this." But maybe we can talk later.
Sure, right.
Maybe not today. Probably not a good day. So I said, look, I'm gonna call you anyway because I want to check on you. Because that's what we do. We want to make sure that everybody's doing well, you know, after they get home. So when I called him, I then verified, you know, after he's a little more awake and, you know, Zai was there with him and stuff like that, saying, hey, are you cool with us reaching out to you later, like in a few days, because we want to make sure all this shit's out of your system and that you're with me, you know, like we're
Yeah.
tracking.
You got to be with the
So-
program.
Right. So, and that's what we did. So, and I talked to Dwayne about it, and yeah.
Yeah,
It
dude,
started the
that was
conversation.
it.
And what did you think of that when he's like, we want to do tattoos and put people out? Were you guys like, that's crazy?
So I had to do a little research.
Sure.
You know, because where we met Gian is in New Hampshire. It's kind of
Correct.
the main basis of why we're based kind of in that area. And so each state has its own rules and regulations, whether it's tattooing, anesthesia, whatever it is that the state regulates, your license or whatnot. So I had to do a little research to make sure that, you know, we were within our scope of practice and within bounds to be able to do stuff for this. And lo and behold, we are. And so Rudy and I chatted some more. And I said to him, I think we can do this. I really think we can do this. And so we started chatting, the four of us, and we've had a couple of business meetings, and lo and behold, we're here, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, did you think that was like any more risks involved with that than what you normally do, or is it just about the same?
No, it's the same. I mean, we've been providing anesthesia for dental offices. That's kind of where we started, and interestingly enough, when you first heard of this coming out, it was artists going into dental offices while the dental work was being done. That's our wheelhouse.
Interesting.
That's what we've been doing for years, is dental anesthesia. So this is exactly what we do.
Yeah.
It's kind of our niche thing.
It's our thing.
It's what we specialize in. So
Yeah.
it's
Well, how long have you guys been doing it? And where do you guys meet?
So we met in 2012 in anesthesia school, basically in Jacksonville, at the University of North Florida. We went to school together. We studied together. We cried together at some points in time. We were beat up together.
Went through a lot.
We went through a lot.
A lot of schooling together.
Yeah, the schooling is intense, and ever since then, we've been best friends. I started this practice up here in New Hampshire. I moved out of Florida. I started in 2015, and he came up afterwards, joined the practice, and we've been going strong ever since. Our actual business is Blue Sky Anesthesia Associates. That's our dental anesthesia practice. And we've had significant steady growth since 2015.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point where we're having to hire other people.
Great. And is that still something you do full time then, is the dental anesthesia? Like, that's not going
every day.
anywhere. Yeah.
Every day, him and I are doing anesthesia, whether it's pediatrics or adults or even special needs kids. We're doing anesthesia for the dental work. And
Good
so
deal.
for us, transitioning to being able to provide this for artists to do their artwork on clients, it's no different. It's literally the same anesthesia technique.
And for clients who are freaked out about, being worked on for 6-8 hours, people that just can't take it, or I don't know, they're just freaked out.
Many
about it.
reasons,
but they want the art, they want the piece, but they just can't do it.
Sure.
So
we got good idea on what we're doing with it, and it's expensive to get it done, but I think it's
Well, you have to realize that we're bringing you a medical facility.
Sure.
Like, we're a ventilator. We're bringing all the medications, oxygen. Like, we are set up like a medical facility, like a small operating room, so to speak. I mean, obviously, it's not a full-blown operating room that you would see in a hospital, but it has all the same stuff, just in a little bit tighter space, a little bit smaller space. And so if you know anything about anything in medical nowadays, it's expensive. And we're trying to make this so that it's, I don't want to say the word affordable, but
accessible,
accessible to people without breaking the bank. But yet we have to understand this stuff is not cheap.
Absolutely. Right.
I mean, the medicines, the equipment, all that stuff that we provide. Because remember, you're taking it. We call it you're taking a nap. But the reality is you're going under anesthesia.
It's a forced nap.
Yeah, you're going under anesthesia, and the reality is it's safe. I mean, when I talk to our patients and our clients, and they ask, well, how safe is this?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
My response is, well, think of it this way: if it's raining outside, could you get struck by lightning?
Well, that's why I don't play in the rain.
Well, there you go. The answer is yes, you could, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, is it likely? No,
right.
It's highly unlikely, but it's still possible. I mean, it's still possible for it to not be safe for whatever reason.
But no more unsafe than the regular.
It's
for putting up people
absolutely
for dental
not.
work.
I mean, it's probably equivalent to driving your car down the road. I mean, like, there's a possibility you can get into an accident. It's the same concept. Now, we've been doing this so long and we've got this honed in that it's I would say very safe, but there's always the possibility that something could happen. There's no guarantees in life.
Have you ever had any weird things happen while you've had anybody out?
We've had some, I don't know what you mean by weird stuff, but we've never had any issues or complications related to anesthesia. I mean, for us,
regardless of what you do, I mean, you're in the middle of a process. Say, even when you're doing art, I mean, something's going to come up, and then you go, "Oh shit, that line's a little off." I'm just gonna, no one's there to watch you, and you fix it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we do. We keep things just so, and if things start to deviate, we bring it back.
We keep it between the lines.
Keep the line.
Gotcha. Okay. Because
Exactly.
a lot of people ask me about this stuff, and I'm so ignorant about it. But a lot of people say, "Hey, have you heard about where they're putting people to sleep? Couldn't they die?" And I'm like, I have no fucking idea. Not a clue.
Same questions I had.
Yeah.
The real answer is, it's possible, but it is very unlikely.
Correct.
Yeah, that's a
I
good
mean, the
comparison,
reality
though.
is, and this is our public disclaimer, is that you got to be honest with us, because when we give you anesthesia, we're controlling basically everything about you. We have medications that can bring your heart rate up, bring your heart rate down, your breathing up, your breathing down, your blood pressure up, your blood pressure down. We literally control everything about you with the medications that we are giving based on our knowledge of how they work in the body, the duration of action, and so on and so forth. So when we don't get a full picture of what your medical history is, it impedes our ability to do so. We're not the police. We don't care whether you smoke weed.
No judgment.
We don't judge
care.
at all. We just need to know. But there are certain guidelines that are in place to keep people safe. Our biggest one is, nothing to drink within 2 hours. Specifically, you can only drink 2, clear liquids. Nothing to eat within 8 hours.
And why is that?
Because there is a possibility that when you go under anesthesia that you could vomit.
Okay, that's what I
And
thought.
the last thing you want to do is vomit
when you're sleeping.
When you're asleep.
And the
right?
vomiting itself is not the problem. It's if you
the
vomit
after
and then it
effect.
goes down your lungs.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
yeah.
So it's everything we do is just about safety. And not only are we controlling everything about the person, but we're also advocating for the person.
Right.
So if something happens and it's not safe, regardless of the arena that we're working in or who we're working with, if something's not safe, we know that it's not safe, the case is done.
Done.
Whatever's happening stops.
You walked in, you walk out.
Correct.
Sure.
That's a bottom
Correct.
line.
That's the priority.
That's
Yeah,
the
good to
priority is
hear.
safety. Number one priority is safety. Number two is what else we're doing, whether it's dental work
Yeah.
or tattoos or whatever else. But it's the patient has to be safe. That's what we're there for. I mean, yes, they're paying us for the sedation process, but the reality is they're paying us to keep them safe.
Sure.
Correct.
That's really it.
That is wild. That's exciting. I can't wait to see how this all comes together.
Dude, it's amazing the way they do their jobs and stuff. Like when I first got done, like I said, I was kind of nervous, and as soon as I talked to them, it just made me feel real relaxed because they knew exactly. They had an answer for every question I gave them, which was huge for me, and. Dude, it's amazing the way they do work. It's when I see them do it, I'm like, oh, this is like me tattooing or you tattooing. We know our equipment. We know exactly what to do. We know exactly how to fix problems if they would happen.
Sure.
If they always do. So, man, I see them the way they do it. I'm like, yeah, these guys are professionals.
I mean, just as you guys equate, you're artists. I mean, there's kind of a saying in anesthesia. Anesthesia is its own art form.
Yeah, I believe it.
You know what I mean?
It's amazing.
When we did the first case with Gian, this is something I was going to tell you earlier, but we were waiting for this moment. The first time we did a tattoo under sedation with Gian, you should have saw the look in his eyes.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
As soon as he started working, he just had this shit-eating grin on his face.
You got tattoo under anesthesia.
No, I haven't gotten tattooed. I just
when
got
he
my
was tattooing
teeth
someone.
worked.
So from the artist perspective, right?
Yeah.
He had this
Gotcha.
look on his face of like a kid in a candy shop because the patient or client, wasn't moving at all.
Yeah.
Nothing. And he was like, this is the perfect canvas.
Well, no doubt.
It's perfect.
No doubt.
And there's no flinching. There's none of that.
Unreal.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can just, it makes you faster.
Do what you need to do.
You can do
Yeah.
what you
Correct.
need to do.
Yeah,
You can
yeah,
do it in
correct.
less time. And you just can keep on going because there's no movement. There's no,
That's got to be so nice
Dude,
because subconsciously, even when I'm tattooing somebody and I feel like if I know I'm hurting them, maybe I'll ease back a little
You'll
bit, or
go
there's
a little
something,
slower.
something.
Or if they're tense.
Right. So it's just to not have that is,
And that's the other thing
Remarkable.
Rudy alluded to is, when they start off, if you get it to a sensitive spot, they're going to tense up. And I'm sure that affects the muscles underneath, affects the way your needles enter the skin and whatnot, and how it leaves the ink behind. It's the same tone the whole time.
Unreal.
So there's
I want to do
Can't wait
that.
to do it again.
I want to try.
And the people that we've done have told us that when it was finished, they didn't even realize they had a tattoo because it didn't hurt at all.
Yeah,
there was no
that's-
soreness, nothing.
That's what they.
And even the
told
next
us.
morning saying, I forgot I had it.
Yeah, I still
way.
don't.
the next
believe
day.
it. The
They
next
didn't even
day.
know that they forgot they had it done.
Unreal.
And not that it should be, overtly painful. It's just, it's there.
Sure.
Usually. These people didn't even realize, they totally forgot.
That's so weird. So they
Until
wake
they-
up and they're like, well, they're groggy for a while first, right? Like an hour, half an hour, something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, when they wake up, they immediately know what happened. It's not like they wake up and they're like, "What happened? What happened?" No, they wake up and they're like, "That was awesome."
Best sleep.
They'll say,
This is the best nap I've ever had.
that was great. Is it done? They're like, "Oh my god, this is so cool!" Like that. That's
Unreal.
the feeling you get every time they wake up. They're just like, "This was awesome." And I just, dude, I really feel like it goes hand in hand. Obviously, there's something said about somebody that finishes a whole back piece, with no anesthesia, goes through the pain and goes through all this stuff. It's like, damn, that's bravo. But that's not for everybody.
Right.
Some people are not interested in the rite of passage,
For sure.
or the pain and going through it. Some people just want the art, man.
And even
They
those
just
who have
wanna look cool.
dozens and dozens of hundreds of tattoos, it's like sometimes we've experienced the pain. Like we don't need to experience it
You don't
anymore if
need
you don't
to.
have to, right?
No.
But-
I got plenty of tattoos that I've gone through pain with, and Honestly, I mean, I don't have any tattoos personally done on myself through anesthesia. I haven't gotten done yet. I can't wait to do it.
Yeah.
But, dude, I mean, it's one of those things that, I mean, it's amazing that it's out there.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy that we are providing that service to people now, you know, because that's something that even when I first started tattooing, I remember telling my the guy I apprenticed under, I was like, dude, what about like anesthesia? Can you imagine that in the future they're gonna be like putting people under anesthesia to get tattoos and stuff? And he was all like, yeah, maybe. I don't think it's ever gonna happen. And it's happening right now.
Here it is, right.
You know, we're here, and that's amazing to me. I'm really excited about it.
Dude, me too, and I've just only been hearing a little bit about it.
Yeah,
You mentioned earlier that you want to have a roster of tattooers as well, right? That's like one of
That's the
the
difference.
main,
Yeah. So what separates our company from other, because we're not the only ones that do this, right? I
No,
mean,
we're
there's,
not.
There's other people that use anesthesia to tattoo with it, and you know, there's a couple artists out there, and the difference between them and us is that we are looking at more as a roster of artists. You know, when you come to our company, you know, Sedation Lounge, and you call us and you want to try to book a tattoo with us, you're going to have a list of over 30 to 40 artists, at least at the moment, you know, that because we're going up every I mean, we're kind of picky who we want in this roster. So these are amazing artists. But it's going up every month, you know, of people. Everybody wants to be in this roster, you know?
Yeah.
And we got amazing artists right now that are in there. So if you're a person that wants to get tattooed, you don't have to just look at one person that does the anesthesia and has to now go through that person. Now you can pick through, you know, a roster of amazing artists.
Yeah.
You can go like, you know
Incredible.
what? I want this artist, I want this one, and I want this artist. I want those three artists to work on me at the same time.
on all separate parts of my body.
That's
Yeah.
the cool part is you can have multiple artists working on you simultaneously, whether it is a single tattoo that 3 artists are working on or 3 separate
Exactly.
pieces. And, you know, you could back, chest, I mean, you can do bigger pieces in one sitting and you get more done because they're not moving, they're not asking for breaks. They're, you know, it's your canvas is your canvas.
What if
and
the
you
artist
just
had like
keep
a
going.
question that was like, oh shit, I don't remember if I was supposed to make this like necklace blue or purple. I forgot. Like, you can't wake them up, right? You kind of just
They just get what they get.
Well, I
You
think
gotta tighten it up. You gotta tighten it up before.
and I think that's why
This is
like
going blue.
there's the conversation before. I mean, I know from an anesthesia perspective, we're going to do a preoperative anesthesia questionnaire just like we do now. We're going to go over your medical history. We're going to make sure that everything jives with what is reasonably to be done in an office a setting, and same thing with the artist. They're going to go over, this is what we're doing. This is, like you guys do. You go, it's a
Eyes
punch
are
list.
dotted.
This, and this. You got to go over before. You're signing consent. You're signing an anesthesia consent. You're signing, your medical history is, what your medical history is. Because once again, this is safe, but we want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Everybody's doing the exact same thing, and what the client wants, specifically because of those reasons. Because once they're out, they're out. There isn't waking them up until the end. So we want to make sure that all that stuff is cleared up at the very beginning.
You got to circle like tattoo this arm, not this arm, like
Yeah,
they do
yeah.
with the
Well,
knee
I mean-
surgeries.
like a surgical
Wrong
site.
knee.
It's no different than we do a surgical site in the operating room.
Exactly.
What's the longest you can put somebody out for
Well,
safely?
That was one of my first
so
questions when I saw it.
currently our longest sedation has been what, 8.5 hours?
Yeah, almost 9.
Almost
9
9
hours. Yeah.
Can we go longer? Yeah. Do we like to go longer?
And what is the risks for going longer?
The biggest risk is because we're not in the hospital. I don't know about you, but I got to use the bathroom every few hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's that risk, and part of that process is making sure they use the bathroom before we go under anesthesia. There's minimal risks, such as the cumulative effect of the medication. So the longer you're under anesthesia, potentially, depending on how we titrate the medication towards the end, it might take you a little bit longer to wake up. On average right now, between the time you say we're done and that patient is ready to go out the door, that client's ready to go out the door, it's about 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So we've got a pretty reasonably fast turnaround time. They have to meet obviously certain criteria so that we can safely discharge them from our anesthesia services. But there, I'd say, anywhere between 30 and 45 minutes, we can probably get them out the door, maybe an hour depending on the patient, because you always have somebody that, sometimes will take a little bit longer than others.
Sure. Yeah.
Everybody's different.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's amazing the way they do it, dude. Like, so like the latest ones we've done, it's almost like a dance, or you really gotta like be on the same page with the doctors when you're doing the tattoo, because like Rudy and Dwayne, they like for me to tell them at least 30 minutes before I finish. To like, hey, let me know 30 minutes before you finish so I can start. I don't know what they do exactly, but I see what they do. They're trying to wake
like a
them
wind
up.
down.
Yeah, we do what we call titrate to effect.
Yeah,
So
just trying
if
to
the
wake them
effect is we're starting off anesthesia, we want to get them deep in the anesthesia quickly so that you can start your artwork. Vice versa, at the end, we need some time so that we can titrate that medication back, knowing the half-life of the medication, the duration of action of the medication, how the medication works in the body. We have to time that. I mean, we make it look kind of easy, but the reality is there's a lot of thought process that goes into the timing of what we're doing and how we're doing it. Think of it like flying an airplane, right? You have takeoff. That's what we're doing at the very beginning. We get the airplane to altitude. You guys are doing the artwork. They're cruising. We got to land that plane.
Yeah, you put your seatbelt back on.
And
Correct.
so we need the time to be able to land that plane. Now, we can land that plane later or on time, right? If we have a heads up, we can land that plane better on time.
Got it.
Versus landing that plane, if we don't have a heads up, a little bit later. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah, the goal
absolutely.
is that as soon as I put in those last little bits of whites, or the artist in general doesn't have, as soon as the artist finishes those last little bits of whites or whatever he's doing, as soon as he finishes, Dwayne or Rudy comes in and bam, that person just wakes up. You know what I mean? Like they can literally time it to a T to where they are just perfectly waking up as soon as you finish. That's how
crazy.
That's our art form. That's our art. That's
so
our
nuts.
art
how
form.
accurate they are. It's crazy. It's crazy. So and people wake up feeling good, because not only do they get the anesthesia and the medicine, all that stuff, they get and correct me if I'm wrong, they get like a type of IV or
Yeah, some of the medications that we use are anti-inflammatory, so anything that you're doing with regards to inflicting anything on the body is going to cause discomfort.
Sure.
Whether it's a cut, a scratch, a surgical procedure, whatever it is. There's some medications that we give that can help with the inflammatory process, that can help with pain process.
the nausea, right?
We give stuff to prevent
things
nausea.
like that.
We call it PONV, postoperative nausea and vomiting. The last thing you want to do is be going down the road and being nauseous, right? So we give medication to prevent all that stuff, and we give some stuff to help with the discomfort after you leave.
That sounds like a great night's sleep for me.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Like, have you guys ever not had a good night's sleep and you're like, hey, can you put me out for like 6 hours? And
No, but what we do is we do a lot of kids, and we have a lot of parents saying, "Can I get some of that to go?"
Exactly. We're like, look, the kids are gonna wake up real fast, so they're not gonna be knocked
need a
out the
date
rest
night.
of the day. Sorry, sorry, they're gonna be awake in a couple hours. They're like, oh, crap.
Damn it.
So, yeah.
Dude, it's amazing seeing them working and all that stuff. And I got so many questions when it comes to that stuff, because to me it's very interesting. So I'm always asking, like, what kind of medicine are you using right now? They're like, well, I'm using this type of medicine right now. And they're giving me facts of what they're doing as they go. And the more I learn, the more I see how deep it really goes. And it's intense, but it's amazing. It's amazing. I really love like just being around them while we're doing it.
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like a great team to be a part of.
It's
I'm
great.
I'm jealous. That's nuts.
I mean, we
great.
think we're pretty great.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. Dude, it's awesome. I mean, like, just imagine just going to sleep, and then 2 minutes later you wake up and your whole back is done, and you can choose 3 or 4 artists, 5 artists that are your favorite artists, you know?
All right, now that brings me to another question that I know a lot of people are wondering. What does that cost? I know that's got to be pretty costly. Obviously, there's a lot of like medicinal things involved, and your skills, etc. Everything. It'll be accessible, but it's still got to be a pretty penny, even for one artist.
You know,
right?
like I said, medicine isn't cheap. You know,
No,
the process, what we're bringing to the table to provide the client is literally hospital level anesthesia.
Yeah.
That has a tag. It has a price tag on it. You know, and we've kind of looked at what we can do to make it work. And I mean, if you want to give a number,
right now, we're doing what changes the price. It's gonna be the artist you choose. Every artist has got different prices and stuff like that. And if you want to choose 5 different artists to work on you at the same time, you got to pay for these different artists. So that would fluctuate your price on the tattoo if you want 1 artist to 5 or whatever. But for the anesthesia, what are we charging right now for just the anesthesia?
The base price for I wouldn't say just the anesthesia. I would say the base price for the service.
For the service,
the service. Is going to be about $30,000 for the service. Sure. Now, if you wanted to add 3 or 4 artists, now maybe certain artists charge different rates and whatnot. So it may go up from there, but that base price will get you approximately about 8 hours or so of anesthesia, and all the the stuff that goes along with it. I mean, you're going to have an anesthesia provider. You're going to have two RNs there. You're going to have. I mean, we're bringing a whole entourage of medical stuff to do this process, and that's why the price tag is what the price tag is.
Does my insurance cover that?
Because what's that?
Does my insurance cover that?
I don't think they cover cosmetic.
I don't know if FSA,
elective procedures.
HSA.
Yeah, the FSA, the HSA. I don't know. You'd have to talk to them, but yeah, I mean, we're not. Yeah. This isn't our first rodeo.
Sure.
This is
It's legit. This is legit. Do it right.
We know what we're doing. We know what we need to bring. We know the level that we need to bring it, and we're bringing it to the top tier level because that's how we've always done our anesthesia. There's no
compromising. Right?
No compromise.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a person. This is what they want. This is what we're going to provide. But with that, know that you're getting the top level of service, but with that service there comes a little bit of price tag.
Sure thing. To be expected.
There's the artists that there's artists that go so many, they go all the way from different realms when it comes to tattooing. Some artists would charge from $1,000 all the way up to $10,000.
Right. So that's tacked on to the, let's say, $30,000. So $30,000 plus artist
plus
fee
the artist.
ish.
Exactly. So I mean, it could go. I don't know. It depends on who you choose. But I've definitely heard that out there, people that do it right now, they're doing it for like $100,000.
Sure, I've heard that too.
You can't even choose your artist. You
Right.
know? You just get whatever you get.
And I would say that's definitely not where we want to be.
No.
I mean, like I said, when I said we're trying to make it a little bit more palatable, a little more accessible, that's what we're talking about. Is we're trying to bring that price tag down so that they can get the high level of service that the client should have and they deserve, but also make it so that it's not that astronomical.
Yeah. It's where real people can get it, not just celebrities.
Yeah,
right?
not just celebrities, exactly. Because why shouldn't they?
Yeah, totally. I 1,000%
They,
agree.
you know what I mean?
Because I couldn't afford $100,000. I mean,
No, I mean,
I couldn't either.
We're on Ink Master. Not yet.
You didn't win Ink Master.
I didn't win Ink Master. I can't afford it either.
Right. That's funny. I say the same thing about my tattoo sometimes. I'm like, I couldn't afford to get tattooed by me, but
I say it all the time. I'm like, God, I would do that. But it's, what it is? It's because you and me, we're in this every day.
Sure.
It's not as fun for us anymore because it's just work, know. And that little fun factor of it, of just getting a tattoo, it just goes away because it's every day you see it. You know?
Right.
But man, I mean, when it comes down to people that are not into that world and they're not into it and they just want to get a cool back piece, but they're just like that.
Yeah.
I would never be able to take that pain. Will never be able to do that. Now they can.
That sounds great.
Or I mean, even people who are going to have multiple sessions. I mean, we went in, it was a while ago, and we saw Gian tattooing somebody who came up from, I think it was Maryland, and it was the second session of maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And so, but he was going to be working on it for several hours per session.
Yeah.
So instead of having this breakdown where you have to, pay for this session, pay for this session, pay for this session, taking the time off, all those things, now it can literally be lumped into one visit one time.
And did they finish? Did you finish that one?
Yeah, I mean, the one they're talking about, so it was like a third session already. So this person had to fly out for the third time to get tattooed. So now you got to factor in
Flights,
hotel, time out of work that you're not making money.
Very
you
true.
know, like all these different factors. So, I mean, your tattoo ends up being very expensive anyways, you know. A lot of artists that are professional artists that have been doing it, you know, 10 years, like I say, you know, more than 10 years, a lot of them will charge over $3,000, at least over $2,500.
Right.
It's a very common price, you know. And you go 3 times to these people, that's $9,000 right there, you know. And it's a lot of pain, a lot of money that you're not making while you're out of those days, you know.
Sure thing.
When you really do the math, it can add up really quick, and spending $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 on a tattoo, they just got to worry about once, you know, and that's it. It's amazing.
That's amazing.
And that same tattoo that you were doing that took 3 sessions, I mean, we could have an additional artist in there assisting him.
Correct.
So that cuts that time down by half.
Right. Easy.
So if you were to pick a full back piece and you had 2 to 3 artists, what would take you several sessions, you could legitimately get done in 1 session.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, it's amazing.
nuts.
And honestly,
Without
it's
pain.
awesome. With no
That's
pain.
crazy. I can't wait to get some of my back done with that stuff.
I'm telling
I'm
you,
coming
it's-
through. What's up?
be
What's
great.
up, boys?
We're there for you.
I
Yeah,
can't
and
wait.
these guys are awesome, dude. I mean, the way they do their stuff, you can immediately tell they've been doing it for a long time. They know exactly what to do. The questions they ask are the right questions. Like, you know, they're serious about it, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I really loved it. I thought it was a great experience.
It's,
Going under the tattoo. I know you guys don't like saying going under, right?
No, you said put you down.
Put you down.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was probably not the best word.
This isn't a vet. We're
You
not a
shouldn't
vet.
say
service.
they're gonna put you down.
Yeah, we don't do that kind of anesthesia.
Put me
that's a
down.
little too much.
We usually say to our kids, "You're going to take a nap."
Correct.
Even the
Correct.
"you're going to go to sleep" isn't necessarily a good thing either,
Yeah.
because they remember their dog or something.
Right. Their grandma went to sleep and she
You're gonna
never
take a
came
nice
back. Yeah.
We don't put you down. We don't put you out. It's
You're gonna take a
it's
nap.
sleepy
I
time.
like it. It's soft. I dig it.
No, it's great. I mean, we got a good roster going on, and you guys can go to our webpage and look at all the stuff.
Which is what?
The webpage is
www.sedationloungeforbodyart.com.
For
There
body
you
art.
go.
Sedation
Yeah.
Lounge for bodyart.com.
Yep,
Correct.
I didn't want to mess it up.
Do you guys have any tattoos?
Yes,
What do you have?
I have tribal on my back.
Sick.
It's a cool one, man.
Oh, I was actually just talking how much I like tribal and how tribal's almost coming back. I feel like.
Is it?
I feel like it's having a resurgence. Like I'm seeing like girls online on Instagram that are getting like lower back tribal style tattoos, which is crazy.
Dude, that
I thought it
was
was long
super
gone,
popular.
but
This guy's got more though. He's got more
Yeah?
than I do.
Yeah,
I got some tribals on my shoulders. This is my latest one. I got a little dinosaur riding a half pipe on my arm.
nice. That's so sick. I love it.
You could tell him about the other one though too, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I have one on my right ass cheek, but I don't want everybody to know for the ladies. But
What is it?
wait, what is it? What is it? Oh,
This is G-rated, I think, right?
No, so I was in Mexico, right? Because
Every good story
starts
in
in
Mexico, right?
You,
I was with some. Go
I was gonna
ahead.
say it usually starts with hold my beer, or it's in Mexico.
Yeah, right. One of the two.
So in Mexico, some of my favorite people that I've known for a really long time. We call ourselves the Llama family, but that's a complete aside. Anyway, I was hanging out with some friends. I didn't know what I wanted to get. We had a whole day set aside. We were all going to go to this tattoo shop. It was in Puerto Vallarta, which was very cool. I just can't remember the name of the shop. Anyway, I wasn't sure what I wanted to get, and then I was hanging out with some friends, and one of my buddies he started scatting. Right?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
he
yeah.
suddenly started scatting.
Shitting all over the place. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I thought that's what you guys are saying.
Yeah, like the goats, like the goats.
No,
For real?
That. So he starts doing that, and I was a little drunk, but I was just pissing myself laughing. For some reason, it just
I
cracked
was
me up. And I was like,
scatting everywhere.
I want that on my ass cheek.
No way.
So I literally have cursive, it says Skinny Bitty Bop. I swear to
Yes.
God. I swear to God. And if my sister sees this, she'll probably upload the picture of it because she likes to send it out periodically. I think she has it like, I don't know.
Oh, we need it.
Favorites.
Yeah, it's one of her favorites. Like anytime I blur about anything, she sends it to a group chat and it's like, that's the picture. I'm like, thank you so much.
That's hilarious.
It's great.
I love it.
Dude.
Yeah, we're gonna use that.
I would.
His sister does. Obviously. Yeah.
I love your sister already.
She's awesome. She's awesome.
Oh, man, dude. But yeah, I mean, I honestly, dude, I think this is a good service that's very needed out there. And I just think that a lot of anesthesiologists will, you know, thank God you guys weren't like that, but I feel like a lot of doctors would see tattoo artists not in the same realm as plastic surgeons. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
and-
even though we're really different, we are doing body modifications. We both
agree.
are. You know what I mean? And tattoos are just that.
Sure
They're just a way to modify your body. You know, to change it, dude.
Yeah, it's cosmetic, right? Cosmetic surgery.
You know?
Yeah, and it doesn't change what we do.
Yeah.
Our job is to manage pain. That's literally what anesthesia is managing pain. Whether we do it for a tattoo, whether we do it for teeth, or whether we do it for a major surgery, that's what we do. So what's the difference?
Right. Yeah,
To
absolutely.
all those people that say, well, you shouldn't be doing it for tattoos, well,
Well, why not?
why not?
Exactly.
If
And if
somebody
people want
wants
it.
it, if somebody
Exactly.
wants us to do it,
Exactly.
why not?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see, but I do see online though. Now that we're talking about that, I do see people not being really happy about it.
Well,
Some
not
guys
yet.
are,
Right.
like,
Because
really
it's such a big
pissed.
change. It's such a big change. But
Yeah.
again, give it like even 5 years might be a bit too long. But give it some time, and it's just going to be as commonplace as anything else.
Well, we saw that in
But
dental.
nobody likes change.
When we
Correct.
first started doing this, when I started doing this in New Hampshire, the dental part, they were like, "You're going to do what for dental?"
Yeah.
I'm going to do anesthesia. What do you mean? Like nobody was doing
Why?
it.
Yeah.
And now we're beyond busy.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean,
You know, and
Because why not? Especially when it comes to dentistry. Sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
but it's just
no,
like
no.
it's a
and, I mean,
teeth
and the
thing.
patients we
People hate
see. I mean, I know Gian, you're joking, kind of joking. You say, you're a wuss. You know, when it comes to dental stuff,
yeah.
but that's okay. And we hear that all the time. And people, they feel a little embarrassed. They're like, I got to be put out for dental work. And I'm like, you know what? It's okay because you know what? You're here and you're getting it done because you need it done.
correct.
Then that's all that matters.
And
all that
sometimes
matters.
people want tattoos. They just can't hang. So
Sure.
They
why
don't do
not?
it.
Why not? You
Now
know?
they have the
Yep,
option
yep.
to.
Yeah.
So, and that's okay.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing the way how much it's changed over the years. But yeah, I do still see people. I got friends that don't like it.
Sure.
Good friends of mine that are like, no,
Really?
that's wrong. Yeah, good friends of mine that are like, no, it's wrong. Tattoos
You gotta
are.
earn it.
Yeah, you gotta earn it. You gotta go through the process. I get it, dude. I got plenty of them, but I just don't look at it that way
Yeah.
anymore. I look at it as art. Art is the number.
It's an
one
old school
thing.
way to look at things.
Yeah, I
you know.
think so. I don't look at it as a rite of passage or anything like that. I just look at art nowadays. I just wanted to. How's it gonna look on your body? How are you gonna look when you're done? That's all I'm worried.
Wouldn't it be
Aesthetic
fascinating if somebody like got an entire bodysuit and never felt the pain of a tattoo once? That would be interesting.
That
You know what I
would
mean?
be crazy.
It's like because I'm thinking like before you get it, it'd be nice to know the pain so you know what you're missing out on. But like it would be interesting if you saw somebody with an entire bodysuit and then never felt it once.
I mean, how
couldn't tell
can
you.
you not be curious to at least know
Sure,
what
right,
it feels
right,
like,
right, right.
Especially when you're so determined to get your whole body tattooed. At least you're gonna have to, try it once.
Yeah.
See how it feels.
Yeah, you have to.
You
Well, that's
got
like
to.
it's similar to the tattoo artist with no tattoos. I used to look at those guys and be like, well, how can you know how
Is that a
something
thing?
heals? You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. And surprisingly, there's very good tattoo artists. My friend Goldie, phenomenal artist, doesn't have one tattoo. It's crazy. And Al Bursakov,
Yeah.
not one tattoo.
My apprentice didn't have tattoos. It wasn't my favorite thing in the world.
Right. I mean, I totally feel that. It's weird. I feel like they
It was
should.
tough. It was tough for me because now he does have tattoos, which is great. But one of my first questions when he told me before he was an apprentice, and he said, like, I asked him, I said, do you have tattoos? And he was like, no, I don't have any tattoos. And I was like, do you want to get tattoos? That was my next question. Because if he would have said, no, I don't want to get tattoos, I just want to tattoo, I wouldn't have grabbed him as an apprentice.
Sure.
Not that I'm against it or not. It's cool with me, but I wanted to grab him as an apprentice because I want you to, it's got to be so important to you, the tattoos, that you at least want to have one.
Sure.
You know, you gotta have that respect and want for it. Also, you gotta know how it heals.
Right.
And how you gonna teach people on how to heal something without you knowing how to heal? Because it's not the same. Your wife could live with you every day, and you can tattoo her all you want and try to learn, but it will never be the same.
Yeah, it's
You'll
not
never
quite the same.
know.
You can learn some things, but
wiping that dry
what it feels
napkin
like.
feels like.
Yeah,
You'll never know
yeah.
that. You'll never know how it feels to be uncomfortable in a chair for 4 or 5 hours.
Right.
You know, there's certain things you just have to know if you're gonna get through it. So
Well, I think it would make you a better artist.
it does.
Because now you can empathize with
That's the
what
best
the
time to
person,
get tattooed by a tattooer.
what the person is actually going through.
100%.
And because you can empathize with that person, you can understand sometimes why they might want anesthesia.
Exactly.
Right.
Depending on the
right.
area you're tattooing, it can be probably pretty uncomfortable.
Exactly.
And some people's pain threshold is here, and some people's pain threshold
Yeah,
is
we're all
here.
different, right.
And everybody's different with their pain threshold. It's your pain, it's not mine. I can't tell you how it feels.
Sure.
But it's yours, and you can tell me how it feels. So the reality is if it's too much for you, who am I to say it's too much?
1,000%.
100%.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. My apprentice, when I asked him that question, he said the reason I don't have tattoos is because I don't have the money to get good tattoos. And that was the perfect answer for me, because I personally tattooed for 2 years when I started tattooing with 0 tattoos. I
Really?
didn't have tattoos, and not because I didn't want them. All I wanted was tattoos, but I just didn't have the money to get the good artists.
But you can tattoo yourself, though, no?
But I wasn't a good artist, you know.
Right,
It's just
I know, but
2 years tattooing. I was a bad artist.
Grab a
Not even
chicken,
I
use
like
chicken
my
skin.
own
No,
stuff.
no, right. But that's why, like, you see a lot of tattooers, myself included, that
I was
have
going
a
to say,
bunch of
Pony,
bullshit.
you've talked about this.
Oh,
This
yeah,
exact same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
just
mean,
wanted
I just-
good tattoos, though.
Oh, I mean, at the time,
You know
I
what
just
mean?
wanted tattoos. I don't care what the fuck they look like.
Not me. I was just so like, oh man, if I'm gonna do this, I want something done right, you know, because that's it. Again, I understand people that tattoo and don't have tattoos. I was one of them, so
Yeah.
I totally understand it. But you'll never get it. You'll never get it.
There's something you won't get.
Yeah, you'll never get 100%, even if you think it doesn't make any difference. No, when you do get your first tattoo, it changes everything. And it just it changes your way of thinking, changes everything. You learn so much from it. You know, seeing somebody tattoo you and stretching and whatever, especially if it's a better artist than you.
Right. There's a lot to learn from there.
Yeah, that's the best way to learn. You know, I've gotten
Totally agree.
tattooed by way better artists than I am, and I've learned so much from it, you know. And it's very important, you know, I think so. But at the same time, I understand people that don't have tattoos and tattoo, you know.
Yeah.
I get it. You know, I get it.
Man, that's so
but-
wild. At every opportunity, I was just in my room, like, zapping my arm up if I could. Like, it didn't matter what it was. I just wanted something. I didn't care what it was.
Yeah.
The first tattoos that I did, I didn't even use any rubber bands on my machine, on my coil machine, because, you know, at the time there was no magazines. There was Tattoo Magazine, but there was nothing out there that would show you how a machine was supposed to be set up, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's just like the catalog that I got. There was a needle on the armature bar, but there was no rubber band. So I was like, that's how I set up a machine. So like my first 6 tattoos just disappeared completely because that needle was just flying in that
flying
tube.
around,
Yeah.
Dude, it happened to me the same way. Like, I didn't know how a needle went, if it was like with
Right.
the needles on the bottom
The side
or
on
with
the
the
top.
needles on the top. I just
Yeah.
didn't know. And for the longest time, I tattooed with the needle upside down.
Do you still do that?
And to this day, I still do it. I've
That's
tried it the
hilarious.
other way. I can't do it. I feel like the machine doesn't run as well as
That's so
with the
nuts
needle
because that's just something
backwards.
you learn. That's the right way. You're like, you set it up wrong. That's wrong. But it works.
In my head, it works the other way better. Because in my head, the needle, if you put it backwards, the needle kind of like sticks out.
Sure.
You know,
Yep,
so
yep,
it doesn't
yep.
ride the tube.
Man, I'm
on
gonna have
the
to try
bottom.
that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's nuts.
You know what I mean?
You know, riding the tube, right?
You're gonna ride? What are we riding?
what are we riding? Wait, what are we
Can
talking
you show me
about?
that again, Gian?
But yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
So it hits different, is what you're saying.
It hits totally
Okay, all
different.
right, all right.
It hits really different, and
Went downhill real quick.
That's how it goes.
it's getting
Real quick,
hot in
it's
here.
Sorry.
But yeah, man. I mean, I thought it's one of those things you learn so much as the years go. You do your own things on it, and I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things you just keep learning every day. I mean, we were just talking before we did this podcast about technical stuff about tattoo machines, and I was teaching you things. You were teaching me things. Like,
What was I teaching you? I don't even remember. What can I
Dwayne
do?
and I were learning everything.
Yeah, we were just soaking it in.
yeah, we were just learning stuff. But
So on that same note, would you think that a tattooer that has never felt the pain, but he's got a full body suit, there's still something missing there?
yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I think that there's still something missing. I'll give you the same respect, kinda, you know, but it'll never be the same as a person that at least understands how it hurts, how the napkin feels.
That's the worst part about it, right?
Yeah, come
Those
on.
dry wipes?
Dry wiping and like just knowing how that, you know, what it feels not to use too much Vaseline on a tattoo, you know, little things that really make a difference, how to tell me how to heal it, all that stuff. You'll never know until you won't know 100%. You might know 99.9, but
Sure.
you'll never be at that 100, you know, and the only way you'll understand that is by getting a tattoo. And once you get it, then you'll be like, oh yeah, you know
you
what?
get it.
I didn't know everything.
Right.
before I got my
Because you may
tattoo.
think you do.
You may think you do, but
absolutely.
there's no way. There's no way.
Because I always say, and that's like I think that's the best time to get tattooed is by somebody who just got tattooed fairly recently. Because then they're like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes.
sorry. Because, you know, if it's been like 3 months since you've been tattooed, you're like, wah, wah, like fucking swiping through that shit.
Well,
It's like,
even a
let's get outta
person
here.
that's tattooed hasn't gotten tattooed in 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a lot of people out there. Me personally, I recently got tattooed like 3 times in a week, but before then, I hadn't gotten tattooed in like almost 3 years, and dude, you forget. You know,
Oh, yeah.
you forget.
Forget
And
fast.
once I got tattooed, I feel like those 3 tattoos I got in 1 week have made me a better artist. You know,
right,
for
right.
real. Like it's every time you just learn a little bit more on what not to do, what to do, stuff like that.
Sure.
And like I said, getting tattooed by people that are better than you. That's what really makes a difference. Because you get tattooed by somebody that's not as good as you are, you know, and every time they're tattooing you, you're just like, oh man, I would have done this different. I would have done this.
Without a doubt, yeah.
You know, it's just not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. You still
gotta
can
be.
learn something from them, but it's just different. There was this tattooer I got tattooed from. I'm not going to name any names. Boy, that thing hurt like hell. And usually I handle my pain very well, but I was just like thinking in my head, like, that's way too deep. That's way too deep. That's way too deep. That's way too deep. And I'm not going to say that to somebody who's been tattooing for 10 plus years, but man, that shit hurt like hell.
That shit was too deep.
Not under anesthesia, it doesn't hurt.
That's it. That's it. Don't hurt.
You're selling me. Selling me real
Don't hurt
good.
nothing.
You know,
Who'd you get tattooed by?
Well, you guys are talking about having experience and actually experiencing it to bridge it over to the anesthesia stuff. We actually follow up with people after they're home and they've been home or say they're in a hotel or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, afterwards, because we want to see if whatever we did was appropriate for them and how they're responding to everything, and it helps make us better. Like we've tweaked our recipes essentially.
Oh yeah.
For the better, to make
Yeah.
things faster and safer and better, you know, for the patients, because we actually do call them later. And I mean, not that we're gonna like put each other out all the time and be like, oh, we got to know what it feels like, but actually just calling people, because most anesthesia providers don't do that.
Yeah.
Most people, like say you're in a hospital, right? Like you do your case, you drop the patient off and pack you, and you think, I did awesome. I'm the fucking best, right? You're like patting yourself on the back and you go on to do the next case. You have no idea. 30 minutes later, the patient's like puking their guts out,
Sure.
right?
Exactly.
Literally. But you think you did an awesome job.
You
have
don't know
no idea. So what we do is actually follow up with the patients. We call them, text them, whatever, like communicate with them, say, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? You know, tell us about, you know, have you eaten anything? You drank anything? Any nausea, any pain? Like what's going on? Because we want to be better, you know?
1,000%.
So that's what we do for all of our patients, like dental stuff
Yeah.
with you know.
And all of
with
our patients
tattoos
get
and
their own
everything.
personal cell phone numbers too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you got anything you need, call me.
I'm the same way. I'm
Call me.
not gonna say call me, but shoot me a message. Like
Yeah,
I ask
call me
for
if you need
healed
some. Yeah.
photos in 1 week, 2 weeks, and I get it in a month, just for that same reason. Like if there's anything, you know, and they don't have to be professional photos, but I'm just looking for anything that like you might not be happy with. Or whatever it may be. If it's not healing right, I want to know about that so I can make plans for it.
That's
later,
what makes
right?
everybody better in whatever it
that's
is
right.
they
It's
do.
only gonna make you better.
because you need feedback to be able to make things better,
Yep.
improve, and that's what it's kind of all about, is being able to provide a high level of service. And the only way you get to that high level of service is for the nuances and the little things that people point out to you to make them better, to work on them, to make your art better,
Yeah. Constant
our
feedback,
anesthesia
right?
better.
Constant
Feedback
feedback,
is huge, because I treat, and so does Rudy. Everybody, that we take care of. We treat them like our family. So this isn't anything, we're not going to do anything for you or that we would or we wouldn't do for my daughter, my son, my wife, my aunt, my dad. I mean, we're going to treat you like family when you're under anesthesia. So you're going to get top level from us.
And you can tell when it's happening that somebody's treating you that way. Like there's so many people that are like, oh man, you're so much nicer, so much this, that, and the other than the last tattooer I ran into, which is bonkers to me because it just comes second nature. Like it's just, you want to treat everybody like their family because why not? You know, it's only going to benefit you in the long run.
Rule number 1. Just be nice.
Just be nice. That's it.
Just be nice.
But it's crazy how many times I've heard of just like horror stories or from tattooers. They're like, it was just uncomfortable. They were rude to me. I mean, among like all the like crazy allegations.
They're doing you a favor by tattooing you.
Right.
Come on, man. You're doing a service. You ain't doing a favor. You know, it's part of being nice, talking to the person's wife and making her feel amazing. You know, like it's not, or the husband. You know, it's all part of it.
It's everything,
You gotta give him a good service with everything, not just a good tattoo.
Right. Because that's only worth so much.
Exactly. It's the whole experience. And when people come and get tattooed in our facilities, they're leaving, you know, extremely happy. I mean, it makes me happy just thinking about all the people we've tattooed under anesthesia. Everybody just leaves there like,
stoked.
This is awesome.
Crazy.
I can't wait to do it again. Like everybody. And, you know, it keeps me pumped to keep doing it, you know?
Have you done a full back piece under anesthesia?
No, I haven't done a full back piece.
What's the biggest one you've done so far?
Pretty big tats right now, but nothing back piece related. That's actually, we got a appointment on September for that one for a whole chest piece. Me and Randy actually, RB. RB tattoos. This is Instagram.
Okay.
Randy, god dang.
God dang, Randy.
It's probably gonna pop out right here.
Yeah. It'll be here somewhere.
He's probably right here, right up here, right now. One of these places.
Have you done any with anybody else so far, or has it just been you?
No, it's just been me. Yeah. But me and Randy are doing a pretty big piece, and it's gonna be a whole chest piece. Randy is one of the fastest tattoo artists that I know. You know, I'm pretty fast myself. I can do a lot of work in a little time. So, man, I can't wait to do. It's gonna be our first collab together, even though we worked together for like 2 years.
No shit.
But we just never did a collab, and dude, I am so pumped to do it with him. Also, DJ Tambin and us, we got some plans for some stuff too.
Good deal.
So I mean, we got
the guy you lost
Ink
Master to twice.
Yeah, he's won 3 times actually, 3-time winner. God damn it.
Who else did he beat out?
Who else?
Because you were in second place to his first place. Who else did he?
Who was
remember.
third spot was Creepy Jason or Bob. I don't know.
Gotcha. I haven't kept up on Ink Master a whole lot.
Dude, it's stressful, but yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, always. Like, it seems like an amazing tattooer.
As soon as I saw him walk in, I was like, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Fucked.
Oh, I bet. I know.
He's an amazing artist, dude, and he knows how to play that game well.
Yeah.
He's really fast tattoo artist, good, consistent.
Yeah, he knows how to play that game, like you said. It's like it's not his first rodeo. He's done it before. He's won it before. And then, again, I couldn't imagine what you were thinking when you see him come on. You're like, mother.
I thought we just lost $250,000. That's what I thought. I literally told everybody, and so we were all sitting down when they brought the new artist out, and I told everybody that was still there. There's probably like 8 artists left, and I told them all, like, we just lost Ink Master, guys, and they were like, "No, what's wrong with you? He's not even that good." I'm like, what are you guys, are we looking at the same person? Like, what is wrong with you people? And it was just pissed off that I was like saying that we're fucked. You know, they were just like, come on.
Got him.
That's exactly what happened. Everybody they were just dropping like flies, dude.
Yeah.
You know, he's an amazing artist. And I'm really excited that he's in our roster. You know, and we got
absolutely.
We got a lot of.
It's another reason I won't go on Ink Master, because they're just going to bring him back again, right?
Dude, if they did, he's an amazing
So
artist.
Stay home, DJ. Stay home.
But like DJ, I would say that almost all the artists we got on our roster right now are in the same caliber as DJ and as I am, as you are. I mean, you know, it's cool. You're in it, so you.
I don't know why.
They could get tattooed by Pony Lawson.
I fell asleep and woke up with a little tattoo.
But it looked really good.
It was good.
It was $40,000. It was the best tattoo I've ever had.
Yeah, right. Could you imagine somebody saying that? How much was
Hey,
that?
man, I mean, it's expensive, but how much is, you know, a pair of sneakers nowadays? We're just talking about that. A pair of sneakers nowadays are like $2,000.
Easy.
A really
Easy.
nice pair, and they're flying off the shelves. You can't even have them. You know what I mean? Like, they're sold out all the time.
Yep.
And I think this is one of those things that you don't want to skimp out on.
Right.
It's going to be on you forever.
Yeah, and the thing is I wouldn't discount the fact that the tattoo is this big. It's not that it's this big. It's who did it.
Size
It's when it was done and the memories that it made and going in and having it done. And the reality is that person might be that person with a low pain threshold that wants to be inked by you.
Right.
And
That's the bottom line. So for them, that's what they want.
Yep.
That's what we'll give them.
And the
That's
level
wild.
of detail that could be in a piece that
Oh my
size, that you have 8 hours
Yeah.
of completely focused,
I can't imagine.
relaxed canvas, all that stuff. Like, I don't even know.
I can't imagine.
Like
I can't wait to
three-dimensional
do that.
shit, like
amazing.
coming out at you or
Yeah.
something. I don't know.
That size doesn't matter.
That's what she said.
Don't
No.
tell my wife that.
That's why he puts the needle in upside down.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter which way it goes out.
It still works.
Yeah, it still works.
It's all that matters.
God damn it.
Because I mean, I feel like after six hours or so, I mean, my clients are definitely moving, right? Like,
Yeah.
no matter how well you handle pain, after 6 hours, you're just getting like antsy, which makes the artist antsy in return.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it does. And tattooing this way, it's just crazy. I mean, people are just real relaxed, and the muscles are relaxed behind it. You know,
Yeah,
you know how
yeah,
people
yeah.
tense up when you get into.
Does it feel like a dead piece of meat when you're like moving your arm around?
It's like 100% dead. You know what was really crazy?
Not really.
Not
really.
To be clear.
Yeah.
No, they're alive. Trust me, they're
Not
alive.
really, but yeah, it's super flimsy in there. He's super relaxed.
They are relaxed. They're taking a nice nap.
Correct.
Yeah. But the first time we did it, obviously, we wanted, you know, our first times doing it, one of the things that me, or that Rudy, Dwayne, and me were talking about was what's the least amount of anesthesia we could put on somebody without them having them flinch. Yeah. Because even when you put them down with a little bit of anesthesia, I didn't know
Sleep.
this.
Sleep.
Yeah.
Once again, Gion's putting them down.
Oh yeah, goddamn! I'm putting him under. I'm putting him down already. God damn it! Fuck.
We'll get him there.
I'll get it. But yeah, I mean, the first times I did, I was surprised to see that people would move if we didn't use up to a certain time, because we were using a little bit of anesthesia.
And they're still sleeping?
Yeah, just to the point where they would doze off. But when I tattooed them, they would
Really?
flinch. Yeah. You know, they literally would go like, oh.
So
you know, like they're sleeping.
So part of that, the reason is because our anesthesia, where we were at that point, was not dealing with the pain response that the body has. It's two separate responses. There's a pain response, and then there's the anesthesia, unconscious, sleeping, nap kind of response. We were at a plane of anesthesia where we weren't dealing so much with the pain. We were just having them so that they were napping, like they would be sleeping at night. Right?
Yeah, right.
But
right,
we
right.
didn't have them deep. There's different levels. We probably had, I think we had them at a moderate level of anesthesia at that point. And then
Which I wanted you guys to try.
and we needed to see when we first started this where we need to get these clients so that you can do your artwork
Yeah.
without having to have that stimulation from the patient of flinching. And luckily for us, the clients that we had were generous enough to allow us, while they were taking their nap, to run the needles over different parts of their body that would be more painful, so that for us, we had the education and the learning curve so that the next client, the next patient, we knew exactly where we needed to go, exactly where to get them, so we could get exactly what he needed and the client needed to make this a seamless process.
Yeah, that's what it takes. That
It does.
learning and like knowing
there's
your
a learning
limits.
curve to anything you do.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we could have gone all the
Oh,
way
absolutely.
in from the
Sure.
first time we did it, but me
It's nice to
personally,
know.
I didn't want it that way, and we talked about it before, and they were worried. They were like, "Listen, what if this person moves?" And I was like, "It's not gonna matter." You know what I mean? Because I've been tattooing for,
Doesn't
you
matter.
too,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
if a person flinch,
You know what's
it's not
coming, you
gonna
can deal
mess
with it.
me up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I was okay with it. And I convinced them. I was like, "Listen, I really want to know like what's the least amount we could go with, and having them not flinch." So the first couple times, I would definitely be tattooing, feeling flinch. I'd be like, "Ooh, maybe we need a little bit deeper with this," and they would immediately know that I wouldn't have to say anything. Be like, "All right, just give me a second." They would tweak a couple things, try it again, and to the point where they were just like really relaxed. You feel it,
Yeah, and Pony, off camera, we had chatted a little bit about like our sandbox, our anesthesia sandbox that we play
Yeah.
in. That was part of that process of knowing where the edges of our sandbox that we play in are, where we have to be within that range of anesthesia to make sure that, once again, we're providing the top level of anesthesia and safety to that patient, but yet we're able to provide the artists, like you guys, the ability to do your artwork with the ease that you need or could have of a patient under anesthesia that doesn't move, that doesn't flinch, that is relaxed, is comfortable, is just in the right place.
It's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Like now when
You'll
we
see.
do it now,
You'll
it's
see.
amazing. It's like first 10 minutes, people are there, 10 minutes, they'll talk to them, and in those 10 minutes, they get the IV. They, I don't know if we, I don't know if you guys want to cut this or not, but I wanted to say that one of the things that impresses me the most is when I see them, you put that medicine that makes them forget about it.
we call it a little bit of I don't care.
Dude,
That's it.
it's amazing.
It's actually midazolam is the actual name of the drug, or Versed, its other name.
Versed.
But
I like to call it a primer, just
Yeah.
to get the party started.
Yeah.
and I call it a little bit of I don't care, because in about 90 seconds, you're not going to care a whole lot.
Dude, they're awake. They're awake and they're talking to you about stuff, but they're not going to remember anything that they're
Really?
saying to
Yeah.
you. So this person could be just talking about, "Hey, Gian, I really like your Ink Master. I think next time what you should do is just do this and this and that." And they're just talking normal, but they're not going to remember anything they just said.
Really?
For
Yeah.
about 90 seconds, and then they're
out.
out.
And then they're put down.
Yeah.
But
in Gion's words.
I guess. But yeah, it's amazing. So when they wake up, they might not even remember that they got pinched or anything.
They're definitely not going to remember
That's
the
so weird.
conversation.
They're
Literally,
not gonna remember.
about 90 seconds after we give that, they may still be chatting because what we don't want to do in anesthesia, at least in this arena, is we don't want to do what I call slam them. We don't want to knock them out with the proverbial hammer hard and fast. This is a slow progression. Like we're titrating the medication in a slow, methodical manner to see the effects that we get, because what might work for you might be different that work for Gian.
Sure.
So we've got part of that process is we're doing what we call titrating to effect. I'm giving you some medication. I know how it's supposed to react in your system and all the onsets and peaks and durations and all that stuff and what receptors it hits and how it's supposed to affect your blood pressure and your heart rate. But it might be slightly different for you than it is for him. And we take that as feedback. We learn from that process on an ongoing, constant basis, and that's how we determine how much we're going to give you. So I may be giving you more because of your body size than I may be giving Gian because of his body size. But
He
then
only
there's
needs a
other
little bit.
factors in there as well. So if somebody's smoking weed on a regular basis, they're going to take way more medication because the same enzyme that breaks down our anesthesia medications also breaks down the THC.
Is that why you say not to smoke beforehand?
Dose.
For that reason?
Yeah, so ideally 48 hours is what we want. 24 is acceptable. And there's reasons behind everything we do. We don't do things just because. There's research, there's literature, there's case studies that dictate why we do what we do for safety reasons. And there's some research out there that shows that if you are using THC products, cannabis in any kind of form, within 24 hours to 48 hours, there's a possibility of a few things. One, it can cause high blood pressure with our anesthesia medications. It can cause tachycardia which is an elevated heart rate. It can cause hyperthermia, which is elevated temperature. And the worst part is it can cause your uvula to swell, which is part of your mouth, your throat back there can cause it to swell. So that's why it's not just because we want to say we don't want you using, THC.
Right.
There's reasons for why we do what we do.
Sure.
And that's the reason why, public service announcement, be honest with your anesthesia provider. We don't care, but we just need to make sure you're safe. Safety. We can work pretty much with most stuff, but there are certain things that will cancel your case. Like, we're not going to take chances with safety. So if you've had THC within 24 hours,
reschedule it.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but your safety is more important than any dollar value. Period.
Yeah.
Your safety is more important. We'll reschedule you, figure something else out. Other extracurricular medications. We don't. If you're out there doing some other funky stuff, we want to know. But the reality is we don't want you doing that because we want you safe.
Period.
And as much as we want you to have that amazing tattoo by you guys and have an amazing experience, what's more amazing is we want you safely to walk out of here with that piece that you can now enjoy and show your friends and family.
And to be blunt, I mean, with some of those extracurricular like drugs that people could be using, there's very common medications that we could give that could kill you.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
If you have that other stuff in your system. It's very common medications that are used during anesthesia procedures for doing anything. That's the reason why. Because then what is in your system works with what we're giving you, and it can cause bad things. So that's the reality.
It could cause more respiratory depression. It could cause tachycardia. It could cause tachycardia to become a lethal arrhythmia. I mean, the biggest offender of that is cocaine, crack.
Sure.
Those kinds of we call it extracurriculars. But the reality is those kinds of things are not safe to have had and then have your anesthesia.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, like I said, it's about safety is the bottom line.
So I should not smoke crack next time.
Please
no, don't do a rail.
No rails, none of that stuff.
Yeah,
48. That's going to be a long 48 hours.
It's going to be a long weekend.
I mean, sometimes we've had to be real with people. I mean, even in our training, like where we trained was in a community hospital, and sometimes you just got to look at somebody and say, "Look, I need to know because I could kill you."
Yeah, right. I'm not the cops.
For real.
And that is not what we're here for.
And then they go, "Oh shit, okay." And then they start divulging stuff. Okay, now we can work together.
Yeah.
It's like listen.
And honestly, I mean, the one thing that me personally, the one thing that you can do to me to make me never do your anesthesia again is lie to me about your medical history.
No,
Sure.
Yeah.
Because if I can't trust you, I can't trust you enough to take care of you.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
just be open and honest with us. I mean, that's the
100%.
bottom line.
Yeah.
It's really, truly it. Safety is it.
I didn't do it, dude. I did not smoke weed for 48 hours, dude. I was like, hell no.
Was it the hardest time of your life?
Because trust me, the drugs that we're going to give you are
Way
safer
better.
and way better.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we're way better, but
Well, Gian, you didn't seem that nervous though when I met you, man.
No, it was
Like,
great. I mean, I honestly, to be honest, like me, I don't smoke. I'll smoke every day, but then I can not smoke for 2 weeks, and I'm okay.
Yeah. I'm same boat.
Well, I don't smoke any cigarettes now. I smoke that vape,
Sure.
Juul bullshit. I hate it, but I smoke that, and I can't pass 7 hours without smoking that thing. You know what I mean? I'm so addicted to the Juul pens and all that stuff. So I mean, when it comes to weed, I just, they were really serious about it. They were like, do not do this 48 hours, 24 hours. And I was just like, no problem. I didn't do it for 48 hours and that was it. But they were really serious about it. Also, they were really serious about not drinking water or eating anything before my appointment. I think it was like 24 hours before, right?
8 hours of food and 2 hours of clear
water.
liquids. So basically something you can see through. So we say you can have up to 2 to 8 ounces of clear fluids such as like Gatorade, apple juice, water, something you can actually put in a glass and you can actually see through it. You can have that up to 2 hours prior to. Mm-hmm. Now, be mindful that if you're drinking 2 hours prior to, at some point in an 8-hour process, you may need to use the restroom and you're under anesthesia.
Yeah. So do you have the people just go where they're at?
No, they will put it this way. In our anesthesia instructions, if you're going to be under for that long, There's what they call adult diapers, just in case.
Fair enough.
Just in case.
Fair enough. Yeah,
Doesn't happen that often, but just in case.
I've got some with like Nickelodeon characters all over there.
Whatever you want. Whatever you want.
Yeah.
RoboCop, whatever.
Oh yeah, now we're talking.
I think they call them underoos.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm for them. Man, I wish they made like adult-sized kids underwear. I'd wear the shit out of them.
Oh, dude, they gotta be out there
Somewhere.
Dude, it is something really different for sure. Like seeing the way this all works out, it's amazing, and I'm just so impressed by it. You know,
I am too.
I feel like we are living in the future. You know, it's so crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely like a new frontier. It seems, you know, even though again you might not be the first to do it, it still feels like you're stepping on a new territory. Yes. Almost, right?
There's no book out there that we read and we go like, oh, this is what we should expect or we should follow. No, we had to do our own test and really
we did our own research.
Research. And really,
I love that. I love experimenting and like doing things that not other people have done before. Like with Tom's leg, you know how we kind of experimented on the back of his leg.
Oh yeah.
Future video, watch out for that. But yeah, just like, because otherwise you're just going off of what somebody else said or somebody else's experience, and you need to build those yourself. And then, you know, it's the best way to learn anyway, right?
Oh, yeah.
By doing field tests and whatnot.
It's great, you know, and it's not hard finding people that are willing to like do that. You know, a lot of people are like, yeah, anesthesia, tattoos, oh my God, where do I sign up? You know, most people are just want to get it done. So
Right.
I mean, I'm excited for what the future is going to bring and with our business and everything. And I think it's growing little by little, but I feel like it's going to grow a lot.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Exciting. I think it's exciting. I think, you know, Sedation Lounge for Body Art is going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
I think it really is going to be a real big deal. I think it's going to grow. I think it's going to be like for us what it was, you know, 8 years ago, starting in new territory with doing anesthesia and dental offices. This is the same thing for us. It's a new frontier. It's just a new avenue. Mm-hmm. And once again, we're there to control pain. That's what anesthesia is. And so for us, it's just another avenue. We've been doing this exact same anesthesia for 8 to 10 years. So for us to jump into the arena with tattoo artists, it's not changing anything we've been doing.
Not changing anything you're doing, but it's something different, feels different.
It's just providing the service to a different client.
Yeah, it's a nice change of pace too, I'm sure, though, dealing with a lot of different people, even though they're not. Like, that's something that I do like about when I'm tattooing people is I love talking. Clearly, I love talking a lot. I love like getting to know people and stuff like that. So like, I have a feeling like if somebody were passed out in front of me, I would just be like talking their ear off and they can't even understand what I'm saying because they're
You can talk to the doctors. You know,
people do that all the time.
Here's the thing. Talking. Pony, you can talk to them all you want. They're just not going to talk back.
I know, right?
Because we put them down.
Because we put them down. Like,
I think that's about it for the time we've got. I don't know if there's any kind of anything you want to say. This camera. If there's, again, if you want to shout out the website that they can go to and check this stuff out, or if there's anything else, or if I know you've got an Instagram, Gian, if you'd like to share that with everybody who's not following you.
Yeah. Well, what's the website, Dwayne?
www.sedationloungeforbodyart.com.
Dang, you say it so good, dude.
You say it's so good.
I just want to thank Pony for having us here.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, you guys for coming. I've had such a blast.
That was fantastic. And thanks for Ryan. I know he's behind the camera.
The man behind the camera.
Yeah, he's the guy.
Makes it happen.
Yeah. I mean, these guys flew all the way from New Hampshire.
I know, it's incredible. That's what I'm saying. I can't thank you guys enough for just flying out here just to be here.
It was our pleasure.
It was important to us to do it. It was a big deal. I flew from Colorado. These guys from New Hampshire. Like, it was important for us to be here because I personally think you're one of the biggest names right now. When
that makes me feel so good inside. Thank you.
I mean, it's the truth. I wouldn't know anybody else that does more YouTube than you do that's involved with tattoos and stuff. You know, you're the guy. So we're honored to be here. That's for Dave.
Likewise, I'm honored to have all three of you guys here. I'm beyond stoked. I can't wait to see how this comes out.
All right, good.
Awesome.
Thank you once again. And
thank you.
Yeah. Get the fuck out.
We'll do this again later. We'll do this again some other day.
Woo! Is that good?
Yeah, that was quick, bro.
Yeah, I know. And on my leg. I love RoboCop.